Okay, we are starting the transferring from our planning phase of our zoo to actually putting it on the final construction paper that we're going to turn in. So today we're marking off our grids on the construction paper. Something that we want from you guys is the axes, the x-axis and the y-axis we want to be pretty bold, and then the other lines we don't really want to see, but you have to have them there so that your designs will be neat and organized. So what we're going to do today in this video is I'll show you how to construct a graph using a ruler, one marker, and either a pencil or a highlighter is your choice. I'll use the highlighter in the video just because the highlighter shows it better than the pencil does. So this will be what our finished product looks like. Go ahead and take your construction paper now. And what we're going to start out by doing is we're going to fold our paper. I'm going to fold it hamburger style first. You want the corner pieces to both line up. And then I'm folding the crease pretty hard. If you don't want it to be folded, this lays pretty flat after you're done with it, but you can see it's got the folding lines. If that bothers you, don't crease it too hard. I like creasing it real hard, that way when I open it only halfway, I can just drag my marker along that, like this. And I don't have to spend time really tracing it. Okay, so that's one axis. I could call that the X or the Y axis. It depends on which way I want my paper. That was when I folded my paper hot dogs or hamburger style. Now I will fold it the other way. So it doesn't matter which way you do first. You just have to fold your paper in half both ways and trace whatever line you get from the crease. And when I open that, I can trace it there, and trace it there. Ta-da! I am making the arrows on mine so it does look like a graph. That's a choice for you. If you don't want it to look like a graph, that's like a coordinate plane, that's fine. And then I like my paper sideways, so my longer line is going to be my x-axis and the shorter one will be my y. If you like your paper long ways, then the shorter line will be x and the longer line will be y. So I'm going to call this the x-axis and the y-axis. And that's the first part. Now I have, just like on that finished product, I have the two axes labeled pretty dark. Okay, if you still need time catching up on this, go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, you're going to start now. You're going to take your ruler. Now on the ruler we've got a centimeter side and an inch side. We're going to use the inch side, and I'm going to make, to get boxes this size, I used 1/2 inches. So we have a line every 1/2 inch in both directions. So I'm going to show you how to get those lines pretty straight on your paper. If you want more lines than this, you could do every 1/4 inch. If you want less lines, you could do every 1 inch. That's up to you, personal preference here. Okay, I'll start going the lengthwise. So I'm going to line up my ruler so that the 0 inches, and I'll zoom in here in a minute. The 0 inch line is on the edge of the paper. I'm going to make this closer right here. The 0 inch line is on the edge of the paper, and the 12 inch line is on the edge of the other side. And I'll zoom in so you guys can see that. So you can see the 12 is lined up on the very edge of the paper, and the 0 is lined up on the very edge of the other side. What I'm going to do now with my highlighter, or if you're using a pencil, that's fine too, the highlighter just shows it better on the video, is I'm going to mark off every 1/2 inch. So I've got 0 right here, and I've got 1 right here. So 1/2 is going to be the line that is right in the middle between 0 and 1, and it's a longer line. If you want the smaller, like you want more lines than I had on my finished product, you might want to use quarters. So the line that's halfway between 0 and 1/2, or the lengthy line between 0 and 1/2, is a 1/4. So I'm going to, with my highlighter, though, I liked 1/2 inch grid, so I'm going to measure, or put a dot off every 1/2 inch. So 0 is the edge of the paper, 1/2, and then 1, 1.5, and then 2, and I'll keep that going across the whole edge of my paper. 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. I'm just putting a little dash or a dot after every 1/2 inch. So on the whole inch marking that's labeled, and then on the long line between those two labeled marks. There's 5, 6 is on the axis, and then the long line between 5 and 6 is 5.5 are right there. Okay, here's 7, the long line between 6 and 7 is right here, that's 6.5. Here's 7, here's 8, the long line between them is right there, and that's 7.5. So I'm going to keep marking every 1/2 inch. And then 12 is the edge of the paper. You're going to do the same exact thing on the other side of the paper now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my ruler so it's on this side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to move it over here. Okay, and so now I'm going to zoom in again so you guys can see me marking it. I'm lining up the 0 with the edge of the paper here, and the 12 with the edge of the paper over here. And then we'll mark every 1/2 inch. So here's 1/2, here's 1, there's 1.5, there's 2. Right, the whole number markings and the long one between it. So here's 2 and 3, the long line between them is 2.5. There's 3 and 4, the long line between them is 3.5. The next inch, or 1/2 inch marking, we had 4, this would be 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6 is on the axis, which is good because it's a 12-inch paper, so 6 should be halfway, and we folded our paper in half. Okay, and then we've got 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5, and I'm on the edge of my paper. Now what we're going to do is we're going to line up the ruler with the first dot at the top of my paper and the first dot at the bottom of my paper. And then we're just going to trace, we're going to outline that. So this edge to the top. I'll zoom out so you guys can see that a little bit better. So what we're doing is, I like putting my pencil on the dot and then making my ruler touch that. I'll do the same thing on the bottom. I'm on this dot now, so I'll put my pencil there and move the ruler so it's touching it. Now that I have both ends lined up on the correct dot, I'm ready to trace the line. Voila. And you're just going to keep doing that until you have lines all the way across your paper from all those dots that we just gridded off. So right here, and then the top one is right there. Okay. So I would, I don't know how to make the little time-lapse thing, but if I did, I'd use that right now. So go ahead and maybe pause the video and do this, or you can try to race me and beat me. So I'm marking pencil on the top dot, pencil on the next bottom dot, and then trace it. And I'll just keep doing that over and over. Oh, I really hope this isn't laggy on the video. Super boring part of the video. Just drawing straight lines connecting the two dots. It's less laggy right now, maybe because I stopped talking. What you can't see is at the bottom I'm lining up the ruler with the other dot, and then I'm just tracing it. So my next dot is right here, line up the ruler there, line up the ruler with the matching dot on the other side, and trace it. Okay. If you are not finished with the vertical lines that we just, or horizontal, whatever way you're drawing the lines, if you're not finished with those lines, go ahead and pause the video. If you are, go ahead and turn your paper. I guess you don't have to turn your paper. We're gonna draw lines going the other way now. So we want the lines to go this way across the page. So I'm gonna need to mark the shorter edge of the paper this time. Same idea as when we marked it on the lengthier side the first time we did this. I'm gonna line up the 0 with the top edge of the paper. Because I already have a straight line drawn, I'll use that as a guide. So the 0 is gonna line up right there, and then the ruler will just line up on that. The paper that we're using in class today is 12 by 9, so if we've done this right, it should line up 0 at the top and 9 on the bottom. I'll zoom in and show you guys that. 0 lined up on the top. You can't see the 0 because I marked it out with Sharpie. And then 9 is on the bottom. And just like before, we're going to put dots at every ½ inch marking. So 0 is the edge of the paper, halfway, 1. There's 1, there's 2, so 1½ is right between those. The lengthier line between those is right there. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way across the paper. 4½ is the axis, and that makes sense because if it's a 9-inch paper and we folded it in half, half of 9 inches is 4½ right there. We're going to keep going. 5, 4½, 6, 6½, 7, 7½, 8, 8½, and 9 is the edge. So I've done that on one edge of my paper. Now I need to do it on the other side. Again, I'm lining up my ruler so that 0 is on the top. And I'm just letting my ruler trace the line that we had in highlighter or pencil, whatever you're using. And we did it right, 9 is on the bottom edge. So I'm going to go back up to the top, and we're marking every ½ inch. 0 is the edge. Here's 1, so half is the lengthier line between the two. And I'm just going to keep that going down the rest of my page. 1½, 2, 2½, 3, 3½, 4. Axis is 4½, which is great. 5, 5½, 6, 6½, 7, 7½, 8, 8½, and edge of the paper at 9. From here, it's a 12-inch paper, and we only have 12-inch rulers, so we're going to carefully line up the top edge of the line there that I have, and the bottom, and then we're going to outline it. Very close up with my hand there. Gonna zoom out so you guys can see that. Okay, we've got the top little dash. I'm going to line it up with the bottom dash, and then I'm just going to trace it. The top dash, make my ruler hit that, line it up with the matching bottom one, so my ruler should be lined up here. And then I will just trace that. And then you're going to have to do that all the way across your page. There was a knock at my door, so I'm going to pause this video. Just find a seat and okay. Unpause the video. Oh, the video's still going. Got it. Cool. Fantastic. So we're just drawing the line all the way across our page. Again, if I could do the time lapse, this is where I would do a time lapse. I don't know how to do that on the computer. So we're lining up the top edge with the bottom edge. And just tracing the line there. How do I get that? Oh, okay. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. Technology is so difficult. Does that make me old now? We'll do that all the way at the bottom, and then just, we're going to keep doing that all the way across. Boring part of the video now. And there you have it, folks. A grid on construction paper. Hooray. This is, at the very least, you need to have this done today. If you finish this before class is over, which hopefully you do, because it took me 15 minutes to go very slow on a video to do it, then you want to start going ahead and transferring your zoo over to the graph on the construction paper. If you have questions, please let me know. Thanks.